Alright, I'm going to show you how to tie an original pattern that I call the Great Lakes Golden Stone. It's actually a pattern that my son designed the night of feverish tying before we went on a Steelhead trip. And I always fish the black stone, and he slayed me on this, and so I've since adapted it and made it easy to tie because I don't like to spend too much time tying flies. So I'm going to show you this cheater golden stone. This is just a glass bead. I like it because it kind of looks like a steelhead egg, and it's on a number 10 scud style hook with heavy wire. And I'm just going to wrap some thread on there. The thread color choice isn't so significant because it doesn't really show. I just use a thin 8/0. Obviously I'm going to have some goose biot tails, so I'm going to put a little extra lump down there to kind of help them splay out a little bit. Alright, for the tail, in my experience, it's nice to pick the skinny biots. You know, further down the stem you can get the big fat biots, and then the little skinny ones tend to work a little better on the tail because you're tying them into nothing more than the hook, and it'll tend to bend around. On the back end, you want the two to go out rather than curving toward each other. You want them to curve away. So one curving away, the other, make them as long as you want. It doesn't much matter. You're not exactly imitating. You're not exactly imitating a stonefly that the fish would recognize because they're not resident fish. They're just here to breed, here to spawn, and you're presenting them something that looks buggy and edible. Who knows what they really think it looks like? It just has to look buggy and edible, have a good dead drift, good profile. So that's really what we're doing here. And sometimes this color makes a difference. Black is my long-standing favorite little golden, or favorite nymph to tie. But these golden stones are awesome when the black isn't working. Here's some pearl core braid I'm going to use for body material. It's the micro pearl core braid, and I'm going to pull out the core. It's got a golden core. When you do that, you end up with nothing but this little piece of the stuff, the reflective, like mylar or whatever it is. So I'll wrap that in down to the tail and back up. And well, I'll just wrap it this way so that you can see what I'm doing there. And I just wrap it fairly tight. Just go all the way up. Now you can, if you want, build up some material toward the thorax of the bug there. Build up some material and to make this get a little fatter. That's a more traditional stone. It's a nice big fat abdomen leading up to a healthy thorax. But like I said, that's not really what I tie because I just wanted to catch steelhead. And alright, so then I tie that in, and then I'm going to put on this case material. It's just like Swiss straw stuff. I kind of use a yellowy, an ugly yellow one. I don't know what color that is. I actually got this from some packing material. It wasn't even one I purchased in a shop, but I saw the color and thought that'd be perfect for these golden stones. So what I do is I tie that in first. You can see I've wrapped it maybe, shoulder length back there. And then I'm going to put these on. Now, for the first set of legs and the second set of legs, they're going to curve back to the back. Not curving away from the body, but curving toward the body. So just put one on one side. And one on the other. And here you can use the little bit bigger biots without much trouble. And just place them wherever you think it looks good and buggy. I mean, I'm no entomologist, but the steelhead don't seem to know that. So it just doesn't matter. This is actually one of the more complicated flies that I bother tying for steelhead because it really works. That day my son smoked me. Made me convinced I should just go ahead and tie these things even though they're a little more work than I prefer for steelhead. Get some dubbing. This is like an amber rabbit dubbing. Whatever you got there. Pinch a little on. Make a little wrap. And I kind of spin it to get it to get a little thinner there. So now about midway, you're going to tie on a couple more legs. Get some more biots. You need a total of 8 biots for this fly. And again, the legs curl back in toward the body. They curve back in, not curl. But okay. These second set of legs, you can see they kind of stick out, if you can see that. They kind of, the focus is no good, is it? But these legs, the 2 legs stick out next to each other on each side. If they don't stick out, if one touches the other, just use your thread and a little bit of dubbing and go between them, and that'll spread them back out a little bit. Alright, and just a little more dubbing. A little more than that, maybe. Put it on sort of in the front of that other set of legs. Okay, now I'm going to make my the wing cases back here. This is how I do it. I use my bodkin to pull this back to where I think it should go. I pull it just back from the tie-in point, so it's kind of midway on the body distance on the fly. Kind of smash it flat a little bit like that. And tie it in right behind the bead. 3 wraps. Then I'm going to do it again, pull it back. Careful not to pull so much that you undo the first one. And I come back almost all the way to the back of this. Here's the first one. Here's the first one. I come back the second one almost to it. Because when you bind this down, it sucks it down in around the bead and pulls it forward a little bit. And a lot of people put a lot of effort into tying that off. I don't. I let super glue do the magic. Super glue is magical. Okay, now all I have left to do is, if you can see that, all I have left to do now is get my legs on there. Let's see if I'm trying to, I'd like you to see that a little bit. I have an iPad just doesn't cut it, does it? Okay, now it's got to get my front legs on. The front legs you put on just the same way you do the middle legs. They curve toward the center, only you just put them right in the side. Right on the side of the bead head, let them stick out in the front. One there, and one there. You can stick them out however far you think it looks good. There you go. Just tie that in. I only use 3 little loops. And then I'll cut off this excess, and you'll see I don't have a whole lot tying in those biots on the front or the wing case. This is where the super glue comes in handy, or crazy glue in this case. Just get some on the point of my bodkin and stick it on there and let it go right into there. And the same thing on the sides, a little too much. And I like the bodkin for applying the glue because you can meter exactly how much you can get. You can put it further up on here and then put this right where you want it and slide down to the spot where the glue goes in. I also usually flip it over and put a little bit back here at the tail to help keep those biots from being ripped out in the tail. Put a little bit extra here. You know, glue is magic. And you can pick out a little bit of the fuzz right here just to give it a little bit buggier look. But overall, that's an extremely simple golden stone pattern. Works great for steelhead. It's kind of curved over because of the scud hook. It's kind of arching over, and the legs kind of go in all directions. And it, for the currents of the tributaries I fish in the Great Lakes, it has a beautiful dead drift with that, just the glass bead, no additional weight or anything like that. So there you go, Erie Trib Golden Stone.